Hey folks, welcome back. My name is Cyrus Davis, and today I have another tabletop gameplay video for you. This time it will be between Gardevoir EX, myself on the left, versus Ancient Box, Callie on the right. This is for a single elimination bracket between 16 decks with their updated Prismatic Evolutions lists. If you want to see the bracket and how it is going to play out, it is linked at the top of the description. But the first round and first game is going to be between Ancient Box and Gardevoir EX here. The bracket should also be in the thumbnail. It might not be as easy to see as citing the Twitter post that I linked in the description, but you can look at it there as well. Both of these decks are updated for Prismatic Evolutions. Ancient Box hasn't really gained much, but Gardevoir EX has gained Badoo, which allows you to item lock your opponents for 0 energy to sort of slow them down and give you alternate ways to win the game. Callie is going first here. She does start the Walking Wake, which we have a proxy for because we didn't have any on hand at the time. Playing Walking Wake, I mean, Callie and I and our testing group have always been preferential to Walking Wake as the additional ancient Pokemon, just because it is the best one to open with, just with its single retreat cost and decent amount of HP. Allows you to easily pivot into the Baby Roaring Moon to actually start using relevant attacks. And Callie does open that Walking Wake here. Just sort of dispense her turn, getting some energy in the hand, using concealed cards, attaching to Roaring Moon, before passing back over to me. Now, I believe I did already have a Buddy Buddy Poffin and a Technical Machine Evolution in my hand here, but I am going to Arven and grab another one, just to have a extra strong start. It is what I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go ahead and Poffin out double Ralts. I'm going to use a second Poffin to get out another Ralts and a Drifloon. Evo TM to the active, attach, and then just go ahead and Evo into double Kirlia. I got out the Drifloon here with the Poffin just so I don't have to worry about finding it later. It is one of the better early game attackers in this matchup, since you can knock out Baby Roaring Moon for just the 3 energy. Obviously not wanting to really use Gardevoir EX as an attacker in this matchup because of its dark weakness. Callie goes and gets another Roaring Moon down, plays a Sada to get the energy onto Walking Wake for the retreat, and then attach to the bench Roaring Moon. Gonna bring up the Roaring Moon. Bench a Iron Bundle just in case she wants to use it later, then takes the knockout. I think she did forget to attach for turn, so she just attaches after taking the knockout here. As I start my turn, I bring up the Drifloon, since that's the thing I'm most likely to attack with here on my board currently. But it looks like I am just going to counter catcher up that Iron Bundle. I think at this point I was already planning on potentially either... I wanted to either use Roaring Scream and go ahead and knock out the benched Roaring Moon with 2 energy on it. That way I force Callie to find both a Sada and an attach to retreat in order to attack next turn. And if I can't use Roaring Scream, I am just going to go for the Badoo play to go ahead and item lock Callie and make it more difficult for her to set up an attack next turn. We do Unfair Stamp Callie to 2 as well here. A great early game play, especially in combination with the disruption from either Roaring Scream or Irritating Pollen. It looks like I go for Arven here. I grab Ultra Ball. And that might be it, because I think I do have both my Bravery Charms in hand here. Looks like I got Ultra Ball, away Dark and Bravery Charm. Lining up that Gardevoir EX to go for a Roaring Scream, but I don't think I have enough Stick Energy here to actually use Roaring Scream. At least not for a knockout on a bench Pokemon, which is, I ideally would not like to knock out the Iron Bundle. I want it to be stuck there. Yeah, I think I just realized now that I don't have a 4th Psychic Energy in discard pile. So I Psychic Embrace the active, and I'm sort of eyeing up, do I still want to attack with Scream Tail here? Do I just want to attack with Drifloon? And then I think I decide, instead of going for Arven for Ultra Ball, where this is fairly casual, right, where we just want to make sure that we make the most optimal plays. So we do let each other take stuff back pretty regularly throughout these games, if it is needed. So instead of going for the Ultra Ball here, I go for the Hisuian Heavy Ball, get that Badoo out, so that Combi is a Badoo proxy. Let's get Badoo up on the screen here. So Badoo has the Itchy Pollen attack, allowing me to do 10 damage to Callie's active Pokemon and item lock it. This is going to slow Callie down significantly, make it so that she cannot use Night Stretcher to get Dark Energy into hand to retreat the Iron Bundle, which means she'll have to find, and she can't Earthen Vessel for Dark Energy, which means she'll have to find those Dark Energies naturally, which will make it significantly difficult for her to actually get this Iron Bundle out of the active spot. Looks like from Callie, and this was also combined with the Unfair Stamp, so it's especially difficult for Callie to actually find a Dark Energy here. Looks like she just finds a Pokéstop and goes ahead and uses it to try to get more Ancient cards in the discard pile, even though she knows that she won't be able to use any item she finds. But at least they go to hand so that she can use them once I do eventually break item lock, if I do. But does not have the energy to retreat Iron Bundle this turn, so just has to pass. In which case I use some refinements, just draw more cards. I think I don't find the Gardevoir EX quite here, so I just discard the Ultra Ball with the refinement because I didn't have 2 cards in hand that I wanted to discard. I already have her locked with the Itchy Pollen. I'm just going to take it patiently and go ahead and Itchy Pollen again rather than use the Ultra Ball and discard cards I don't really want to find the Gardevoir EX faster. Callie's just going to Pokéstop again, discards a couple of Ancient cards, gets a Vessel into her hand, and then just has to pass. Still doesn't have that Dark Energy to retreat the Iron Bundle. I'm just going to use some more refinements here. I have a massive hand at this point. Pretty much everything I could possibly need. Going to go ahead and bump that Pokéstop to disrupt Callie just a little bit. Artisan not super helpful for her at this point with 3 Roaring Moon already in play. And then I'm just going to go ahead and retreat the Badoo. It does have free retreat into the Screamtail. Attach 4 energy to it, and now I can go ahead and pick off that Roaring Moon with 2 energy on it, forcing Callie to find both a Dark Energy to retreat the Iron Bundle, and a Sada to get another energy onto the bench Roaring Moon if she wants to attack next turn. Looks like Callie finds concealed cards into Brilliant Blender. She's going to be able to use that to get more Ancient cards in the discard pile, as well as just generally thin her deck so that she draws better throughout the rest of the game. Looks like she discards a bunch of Ancient cards, Flutter Manes, Ancient Booster Capsules. Then going to go ahead and use Earthen Vessel to find some more Dark Energy. I think at this point I'm taking a look at her resources. I want to know how many Dark Energy she has left. How many she is down. She goes ahead and gets the Sada off, attaches to both Roaring Moons, and then go ahead and retreat the Iron Bundle and knock out the Screamtail. After getting a couple more Ancient Pokemon into the discard pile. And then I just bring up Badoo, and I immediately boss orders up this Walking Wake. Her only way to retreat this now is Sada. I don't remember if she was out of Sada here, but either way, the only way to retreat the Walking Wake is Sada. Even if she does retreat it and take a knockout on the Badoo, I can just boss's orders again, or not boss's orders again, but I can use my second counter catcher to bring up the Radiant Greninja or the Iron Bundle. And she has 3 Dark Energy on her bench Pokemon, 4 Dark Energy in the discard pile, which is all of her Dark Energy. And so the only way for her to recover them into the hand in order to retreat the Radiant Greninja or the Iron Bundle when I bring them up is Night Stretcher or Spirit Energy Retrieval, which are both locked out by Badoo, meaning that she won't be able to retreat them and eventually will deck out. So Callie loses that game to deck out. We both see the writing on the wall. We take a look at her deck to see what's actually left, and it's just the one Sada. She's definitely not going to be able to seal the game before decking out. So we go to game 2, and I believe Callie opts to go first again going into the second game. Alright, so I open the Munkidori this time. She opens the Roaring Moon. Munkidori, not super great in this matchup. I mean, I'm sure it can have some utility, but Ancient Box numbers are just a little bit awkward for actually getting use out of Munkidori. And we're not attacking with Gardevoir EX a lot or tanking hits, really, so. There's definitely a consideration with the way that Badoo can sort of lock opponents down. If you want to be using Badoo a lot, you could play something like, there's an Abra that can put itself back into hand or back into the deck. So you can use some Psychic Embraces to put some damage on that, then Munkidori the damage off onto your opponent's Pokemon before putting the Abra back and bringing up the Badoo once again to item lock your opponent. That's an ability on the Abra, to be clear. And that's a way to get some extra Munkidori damage onto the board. But at the moment, I don't think that's necessarily worth it. So Callie's off to a pretty, does decide to go first and is off to a pretty strong start once again. Has 2 Roaring Moon down, has an attachment return, Greninja, concealed cards. Already got a couple of ancient cards in the discard pile, and just going to go ahead and pass. For my turn, I play a Ralts from hand, I Buddy Poffin for a couple more Ralts. And I just go ahead and use Iono. I want to save the Artisan in case I don't find the Evo TM, then I can go for Badoo here. Looks like that is what happens. I'm going to Vessel away the Psychic just to get it into the discard pile. Grab a Dark Energy and another Psychic. And then I go ahead and Artisan for that Badoo. Just going to take the time to slow Callie down once again. And hope that that can buy me a little bit of an advantage. And I do go ahead and just Itchy Pollen the Roaring Moon in hopes that maybe Callie doesn't have any Dark Energy naturally in hand and is forced to try to find them with Vessel or Sada. Callie immediately Artisans out another Roaring Moon, bumps the Artisan with PokéStop, uses it, gonna discard a couple of supporters off of that, which isn't great when your opponent is using Badoo so much. Adding a Vessel to the hand, she won't be able to use that this turn, but can use it next turn. I'm just going to get and take a knockout on the Badoo. My hand is fairly dead here, so I just go for a Pokéstop. And I do find the Unfair Stamp, which is beautiful top deck. I just attach the Munkidori so that I have the Retreat out, play the Artisan, bench the Screamtail, and then Unfair Stamp and hope to find a way to get that Badoo back into the deck so that I can Artisan it out. So I find an Ultra Ball here, so we Ultra Ball away Arven and Buddy Poffin for a Kirlia. And then I think I decided to discard the Iono instead of the Arven because I want to just use the Arven to get a Night Stretcher because I know that I Pokestopped away a Kirlia earlier. So I'd rather just grab Arven for a Night Stretcher to get another Kirlia into play. I grab an Evo TM as well to discard with my refinements. I'll go ahead and refinement away that Evo. Night Stretcher for the Kirlia. Use refinement. And then Night Stretcher again for a Badoo. I think I debate between counter catching up the Radiant Greninja and the Roaring Moon here, but I decided to go for the Roaring Moon. So if I get the Greninja, she just needs to attach Retreat to attack with the other Roaring Moon that already has 2 energy on it. That was in the active spot. Whereas if I bring up this Roaring Moon, she needs to an attach return as well as a Sada, and she already has a couple of Sadas in the discard pile. So it's pretty likely that she won't be able to get an attack here under the item lock, which buys me some essential time, especially with the only 2 cards in hand from Unfair Stamp. And she does just get the Iron Bundle out with Artisan to thin the deck and then pass. And that allows me to go ahead and start attacking. So I go ahead and retreat into my Screamtail, set it up, and go ahead and knock out the Roaring Moon with 2 energy on it. So Badoo successfully buying me a little bit of time here. And it looks like Callie doesn't really have much. She's going to Vessel, get some more Dark Energy into hand. Her hand is still very small from my unfair snap just a turn or two ago. Gonna go ahead and use concealed cards. Really needs to find a Sada here to attack, because if she doesn't find Sada, and then one, obviously she can't attack, and two, she can't even really attach to one of these Roaring Moons, because whatever one she attaches to will just get knocked out by Roaring Scream. So it's kind of useless to attach at that point. It's just a waste of your energy. So she has to find Sada and attachment for turn at the same time in order to get attacking here. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep picking off whatever she attaches energy to. So she decides not even to attach the energy because it's not worth it. If she attaches the bench Roaring Moon, I'll just knock it out and get rid of the energy at the same time. She's just going to hold it and hope to find Sada. I use a couple of refinements. I'm just going to Roaring Scream the Greninja away to try to just reduce her chances of actually finding the Sada. She does have Night Stretcher, just gets the Greninja back. It's going to use that to keep drawing, keep trying to find that Professor Sada's Vitality. And at this point, I've taken the lead, so now I'm in the driver's seat. If she misses a couple more attacks, then there's going to be realistically no way for her to come back into the game. She does find Brilliant Blender, so she can be able to thin the deck significantly, get more ancient cards in the discard pile, and increase her chance of drawing Sada on future turns. But then she just has to pass again. I mean, there's a couple of refinements. Then I go ahead and Turo up this Gardevoir EX just so I don't have to Turo it up later. Sending it back to a Ralts, removing the 2 prize liability from the board. And then at this point, I know that Callie is running low on both Roaring Moons and energy, so I'm not as worried about her using concealed cards multiple times. I decided to just start picking off the Roaring Moons to make it more difficult for her to chain attacks going forward. She goes ahead and Artisans out another Roaring Moon right away. And is going to concealed cards again, keep trying to find that Professor Sada's Vitality so that she can actually get attacking. So she plays a Nest Ball, but it just gets failed to thin the deck. Now my turn, I evolve into Kirlia. I don't even think I'm going to use... I don't even think I use my refinements here just because I have mostly decent cards in hand now. I don't want to waste resources when I don't need to. I'm already so far ahead. So I just go ahead and Roaring Scream the bench Roaring Moon again. And at this point, I'm at 2 prize cards. So she's going to not only need to hit the Sada now and start attacking, but she also needs me to miss knockouts going forward in order for it to actually come back into the game, which, given how massive my hand is and the 3 additional Kirlia in play, is going to be very, very unlikely. But she's going to go for it, get a superior energy, get some Retrieval, get some energy into the hand, and then go ahead and Sada energy onto these Roaring Moons. Take a prize on the Screamtail. And I think at this point, I Super Rod the Screamtail back in. I Artisan to get the Screamtail back out. I have all the Gardevoir EX. And at this point, it is just game. I set up the Screamtail, and I'm going to attack. But I also have the Gardevoir EX, so now no matter what Callie does next turn, I'm going to be able to take my last prize card. I'm going down to 1 prize card here. And then if she knocks out the Screamtail, I can just use Psychic Embrace to set up the Gardevoir EX and take my last prize card with that. If she knocks out the Gardevoir EX, my Screamtail is still in play, and I can just take a knockout with that. So there's no realistic win condition for it at this point. Even if I had 0 cards in hand and no way to draw more cards, I would always win in that position. So Gardevoir is going to take the first game of this event over Ancient Box 2-0, sending Ancient Box out of the tournament. Now, I think going forward in next format, you do probably have to play Petra TX and Ancient. It was something that I didn't necessarily want to have to play, but I think that considering the way that Badoo can sort of lock up your energies like I did to deck Callie out in Game 1, the Petra DX is going to be necessary in order to make sure that you can keep attacking with Roaring Moon EX every turn, or Roaring Moon every turn. Now, that doesn't mean that Petra EX would have saved Callie that game, because ultimately, you still have to find the Petra EX without using Nest Ball. or Ultra Ball, which is going to be very, very difficult under item lock. Item lock is still going to slow you down significantly the way that it did to Callie in game 2. Didn't even need to necessarily fully lock her out of the game. It just slowed her down long enough for me to go ahead and take the prize lead, take the advantage. So Budew, definitely looking like a very strong card in Gardevoir and a very strong card against Ancient Box. We'll see how that Budew is able to get use in future games. Next, Gardevoir EX will face off in top 8 against Ceruledge, the winner of Ceruledge versus Cloth. And I'm not sure if if Ceruledge versus Cloth will be the next game, but it will be up soon. We'll have another game up tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be Miraidon versus Lost Box. But if you want to consult the bracket and see how things look, maybe make your predictions for who's going to win, you can go ahead and check that out in the link in the description. If you want to check out any of my other content or my socials, the link to all of that will be in the description below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.